صبروا جنة وحريرا متكئين فيها على الأرائك لا يرون فيها شمسا ولا زمهريرا ودانية عليهم ظلالها وذللت قطوفها تضليلا ويطاف عليهم بآنية من فضة وأكواب كانت قوارير من فضة قدروها تقديرا
سبحان الله سبحان الله
ويسقون فيها كأسا كان مزاجها زنجبيلا عينا فيها تسمى سلسبيلا ويطوف عليهم ولدان مخلدون إذا رأيتهم حسبتهم لؤلؤا منثورا وإذا رأيت ثم رأيت نعيما وملكا كبيرا عاليهم ثياب سندس خضر واستبرق وحلوا أساور من فضة وسقاهم ربهم شرابا طهورا إن هذا كان لكم جزاء وكان سعيكم مشكورا إنا نحن نزلنا عليك القرآن تنزيلا فاصبر لحكم ربك ولا تطع منهم آثما أو كفورا واذكر اسم ربك بكرة وأصيلا ومن الليل فاسجد له وسبحه ليلا طويلا إن هؤلاء يحبون العاجلة ويذرون وراءهم يوما ثقيلا نحن خلقناهم وشددنا أسرهم وإذا شئنا بدلنا أمثالهم تبديلا إن هذه تذكرة فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه سبيلا وما تشاءون إلا أن يشاء الله وما تشاءون إلا أن يشاء الله إن الله كان عليما حكيما يدخل من يشاء في رحمته والظالمين أعد لهم عذابا أليما صدق الله العلي العظيم صدق الرسول النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين اللهم ادخل على أهل القبور السرور اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك قريب مجيب الدعوات برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على حبيبك سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد
माशाअल्लाह
शुक्र
सलमान मूसी साहब सलाम पेश करेंगे
सलवात वो करबला वो
شام غریبان وہ تیرگی وہ زینب حزین وہ حفاظت قیام کی آیا وہ ایک سوار قریب خیام شاہ بیٹی علی کی غیظ میں سوئے فراز بڑی الٹی نقاب چہرے سے اپنے سوار نے پیش نگاہ زینب مظلوم تھے علی ہر چند صابرہ تھی بہت بنت فاطمہ بے ساختہ زباں پہ فریاد آ گئی زینب نے کہا باپ کے قدموں سے لپٹ کر اب آئے ہو بابا جب لٹ گیا پردیس میں اماں کا بھرا گھر اب آئے ہو بابا بابا اگر آنا ہی تھا خالق کی رضا سے اس وقت نہ آئے اس وقت نہ آئے جب خاک پہ دم توڑ رہا تھا میرا اکبر اب آئے ہو بابا جب بالی سکینہ کے گوہر چھینے گئے تھے لگتے تھے تماچے لگتے تھے تماچے حسرت سے مجھے دیکھتی تھی بانوئے مزتر اب آئے ہو بابا اب آئے ہو بابا جب بھائی کا سر کٹتا تھا میں دیکھ رہی تھی حضرت کو صدا دی حضرت کو صدا دی سر کھولے ہوئے روتی تھی میں خیمے کے در پر اب آئے ہو بابا اب آئے ہو بابا
صلوات
مومنین یہ KY16JYB मर्सिडीज़ गाड़ी है जिसकी भी है वो डिसेबल बे के ऊपर आप लगा के आ गए और लोगों को ब्लॉक कर रही है, उठा के ले जाएंगे काउंसिल वाले। तो जिसकी भी है वो फ़ौरन चला जाए, जाकर गाड़ी मूव करे उधर से। और अभी इसके अलावा भी जिसने गलत जगह के ऊपर गाड़ी पार्क की हुई है, प्लीज़ यहाँ से चले जाएँ, जाकर अपनी गाड़ी को ठीक जगह के ऊपर लगा लें। थैंक यू। मैं ब्रदर फरशोरी साहब से गुजारिश करूँगा कि प्लीज़ तशरीफ़ लाएँ और शाम गरीबा की मजलिस से किताब फरमाएं। और मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद सलवात।
आवाज़ बुलंद सलवात। अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन व सल्लल्लाहु अला अहले बैतिहि तय्यबीन अत्ताहिरीन अल-मासूमीन अल-मज़लूमीन व लअनतुल्लाहि अलल क़ौमिज़ ज़ालिमीन मिनल आन इला यौमिद्दीन। अम्मा बाद, अस्सलामु अलैका या अबा अब्दिल्लाह व अलल अरवाहिल्लती हल्लत बिफिनाइक अलैकुम मिन्नी जमीअन सलामुल्लाहि अबदन मा बक़ीतु व बक़ियल लैलु वन नहार वला जअलल्लाहुल आखिरल अहदी मिन्नी लिज़ियारतिकुम। अस्सलामु अलल हुसैन व अला अली इब्निल हुसैन व अला औलादिल हुसैन व अला अस्हाबिल हुसैन। अज़दार हुसैन, शाम ग़रीबा, शाम क़यामत। Sham Ghreeban, no night has ever been seen like this night, when the family of Fatima is completely defenseless. When night falls on the day of Ashura, there is nothing stopping the enemy in their hundreds from marching into the camp of Zainab. For now, there is no Hussain left to stand and defend this people. There is no Abbas, there is no Ali Akbar, there is no Aun, no Muhammad, no Qasim, no Khur, no Habib, no Zuhair. There is no one left between the La'een and the Chadar of Zainab. So on this night, the narrations tell us that in their hundreds, some of them storm into the camp of Fatima, some of them fire arrows into the camp, some of them fire fired arrows into this camp. But within moments, it's like Qiyamah has happened in the camp of Zainab. Why do they say this? One reason why they say is because so many men enter. Some of them take the hijab of the women, some of them loot the goods of the women, some take the ring of Aba Abdullah, some strike the children, some set fire to the tent. And of all the tents that are on fire, there is one tent that is blazing in the sky, that one man is inside, for he cannot leave like everyone else. Why? When Sajjad tries to stand, he falls down again, for he is still Bimar on the day of Ashura. They set fire to this camp, and now many of the camps are burning. Who is that person who remains now to stand and defend Imamat? Who is the one that's from Karbala to Kufa, and Kufa to Sham, and from Sham until now? Who will be the one to defend Imamat? So they say Zainab goes into that burning tent. There's an inferno, but she walks in and says, Sajjad, why don't you leave? Do I have permission to bring you? He says, Ya Auntie Zainab, inti alimatan ghayra muallima. You are an alima. Of course, the narration says when Zainab goes in and tries to lift Sajjad, Shimr walks into that same tent. Zainab turns and sees Shimr walks towards Sajjad holding his sword in the air. Zainab says, Khabardar, don't go near Sajjad whilst I am alive. I will not let you harm the Imam of the time. Zainab defends the Imam. Then they say that she walks out and she carries Imam Sajjad out. Now why do I say Sham-e Ghreeba, Sham-e Qayamat? Why? Because children are running from place to place. Mothers are looking for their children. Babies are being dropped. There's only one Bimar Imam who can barely stand while he's walking. Is this anything less than Qayamat? Why is it Qayamat? Of all of the girls, of all of the children, there's one 4-year-old girl. Sometimes she runs to Zainab, sometimes to Kulthum, but always she's running from the same person. Why? They say Shimr says, where is Sakina? Bring her towards me. He looks for this young Mazluma girl. The narration says this girl Sakina is in a halat of khawf for all of Sham-e Ghreeba. Either she's hiding behind the Abba of Zainab, or she's hiding behind Imam Sajjad, or she's running from place to place. Why is she running? One narration says while Sakina is running, she's scared of anyone hitting and striking her face. As she's running, she goes past one of the tents which is burning. Sakina's clothes catch fire. As this girl starts running, her Abba catches fire, and she says, my Auntie Zainab, will you help me? Why is she saying this? Because many days later, when that same girl is being buried in the Zindan, the women say, when they're taking this body, was this girl Bimar? Was she unwell? Why? They say there's some strange substance on her skin. It's like her skin has been burnt into her body. Zainab says, on Sham-e Ghreeba, Sakina's Abba was burning. Her Abba was on fire. That's why she's burning. This young girl, Sakina, Ruqayya, is running from place to place. From now there is no more chain, no more sukoon. There is no more peace for Sakina until the Zindan. As we've ended the Masayib of Abu Abdullah, now we bring in the Musibah of the awlad and of the children and the women of Abu Abdullah. Let me mention to you one riwayat and I'll end my role today. They say when Sakina is running from place to place, she doesn't know where to go. Does she go to Zainab or Sajjad, Kulthum or Layla or Rawa? Where does she go? She runs away from all of them and she walks towards the Maqtal. In the Maqtal there are only bodies lying from place to place, and she calls out and says, my father, since you left me I've had nothing except pain. And she walks for the Maqtal. The narration says as she walks she finds one body lying there in between all the other bodies. Sakina kneels down and places her bruised cheek on the chest of that body, and she says, are you my father? Are you Abu Abdullah? Later they say to her, Sakina, of all the bodies, why did you go to this body to lay your cheek on? And she says, first of all my life there's only one chest on which I have chain when I sleep, and it's this chest of my father. And then she says, while I was walking in the Maqtal I could see nothing, it was dark, so I said, father, where are you? And I heard a voice coming, Ilayya, Ya Bunayya, Suqayna, Ruqayya, come towards me. I followed the voice and I saw there was a body. So Sakina says, I lay down and I put my face on that body. Azadar, ask yourself this question, Sham-e Ghreeba indeed is Sham of Qayamat, because just recently Abu Abdullah has been shaheed. So when Sakina finds that body, all her life she's used to one thing, laying her cheek on the chest of Abu Abdullah and sleeping and laying her cheek on that chest. But what about a chest which has been trampled by horses just before. For the narration says that before Sham Ghreeban, the enemy gathered all of the bodies like the Arab custom. They laid them one after another in a line, and they called those special Arab horses on which they sharpened the hooves of those horses, preparing to trample all the body of the shuhada. But before they do, Banu Asad come and say, wait 1 second, one of those is Habib. Habib's from Banu Asad, don't trample his body. They take Habib's body away. Then they say, stop, Horus from our tribe Riyahi, take his body away. One by one man comes and says, he's from my tribe, don't trample his body. One by one they move the ashab until there's only Banu Hashim left. Then someone says, Ali Akbar's mother's son is related to Banu Sufyan, move Ali Akbar away, don't trample his body. Then they come and say, Abbas is related to Shimr, don't trample his body. One by one, either because of mother or father, everybody is taken unless there is the left one body of one yatim. His mother is Zahra, his father is Ali. There is no one left, for there is no one to speak for Abu Abdullah. This body of Hussain is then trampled. Do you know how much is trampled? They say when those Arab horses trample this body of Abu Abdullah, they kick the body so far it strays from the place where he died. Imam Sajjad says, I was in the camp and I could hear a cracking noise. Zainab says, what's that noise? Sajjad says, Auntie Zainab, this is the noise of the ribs of my father Abu Abdullah being crushed on the plains of Karbala. Imam Zamana says in Jad Nahiya on this same point, do you know what he says? He says, I send my salam on that one person that while he died he looked left and right while he was being beheaded. For Abu Abdullah would look sometimes towards Furat, sometimes towards Zainab. Then he says, I send my salams on that Imam that while he was breathing sweat came from his head while one man sat on his chest. Then he says, I send salam on the left ribs of my grandfather Hussain which were punctured through the right side of his chest from the horses, and I send salams on the right ribs of my grandfather, for when the horses trampled him they punctured the left side of his body. Now imagine Sakina rests her head on this broken chest of Abu Abdullah. But for this young girl, she will not have any chain or sukoon from now. Why? This is the last time she'll be lying on the chest of Abu Abdullah. For after this, she'll be taken to Kufa. From Kufa to Sham, there will be no father for her, no mother for her, except someone in chains. Awlad, family, will be carried in chains. There will come a time when Sakina will be crawling on the ground, asking for water. They say, Sham Ghreeban, she's saying these same words, Al-Atash, 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 Al-Atash. One La'in Shimmer comes towards her and says, do you want water? She says, yes, but I'm scared of you. He says, don't be scared, I have water for you. He takes out his hand, he takes out water. Sakina walks forward, Shimmer turns his hand around, the water drops in front of Sakina. Hi Pias, hi Pias. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ridan wa qadahi wa tasliman bi amrih.
हुज्जतुल इस्लाम वल मुस्लिमीन मौलाना अब्बास आबदी साहब से गुजारिश है कि मजलिस अज़ा से तशरीफ़ लें। मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि। तमाम मोमिनीन से गुजारिश है कि अगर आप आगे तशरीफ़ ले आएँ तो मजलिस में एक जगह बन जाएगी। मेहरबानी फरमाएं।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام